Just 2 days away from the preseason starting, and what better way to kick things off than with the Cowboys and Steelers in Canton, Ohio. It's the Hall of Fame game Thursday. How amazing is that? It is here, 8 p.m. Eastern. And welcome to Good Morning Football, everybody. We're presented by Rocket Mortgage live in New York City. It is Tuesday, August 3rd. My name's Kay Adams, Nick Burleson, Kyle Brandt, Mike Garafolo, all here. We've got a big show. Chris Carter stopping by the program. The president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, David Baker, will be here. Darius Butler giving us his insights. He loves to give us just gems when he stops by. He's so prepared. He's watched everything. His eyes are all over all 32, as are ours here at the breakfast table. Thanks for picking us, and let's start the show with the lead block and Indy.
Lead block.
To Indy we go. News broke yesterday on quarterback Carson Wentz. Carson had surgery on the injured foot, and according to his head coach Frank Reich, who he reunited with this offseason, he's expected to miss anywhere from 5 to 12 weeks. Mike G, that's quite a range. What else can you tell us before we talk about mucking it up with Nick Foles?
I laugh because I've never seen that range. 5 to 12 weeks. I don't think I've ever seen 6 to 12 either, right? I think it's
like what the cable company gives you to come to your house.
Oh, yeah.
We can't narrow it down.
And then they missed the window.
9 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah, come on now.
But the regular season is 5 weeks away, right? So they're going to leave open the possibility that he's ready. I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the regular season based on my conversations with medical experts that know the timeline for these things. So I think the 5 to 12 is just keeping that hope open that we're going to be ready to go with our starting quarterback for the start of the season, because this is what we're looking at elsewhere on the roster. Though they do like Jacob Eason a lot. Show that, folks. There it is. They do like Jacob Eason a lot. There's just not a lot of starting experience right there in the NFL. And Hundley, he just showed up the other day.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason for the 5 to 12 week thing. I would say it's going to be closer to 12 than it's going to be closer to 5, but It's somewhere in between. And I know you're listening down there in Philadelphia because you want him back as soon as possible, because you want that first round pick. He's got to play 70 or 75% of the snaps, depending on whether or not they make the playoffs. That is still very much in play. So we'll see. But the point is, he had a broken bone. They believe it happened years ago, maybe even in high school. And over time, that bone up there by the top of the foot can come loose and start causing pain. And then it needs to be repaired. That's why we are at surgery.
And Nick Foles spoke about this?
That's what I hear. Nick Foles. Take it away, Nick Foles, because you were asked about the possibility of joining Frank Reich, your former coach in Indianapolis.
In this league, I don't want to go to someone that, I don't know. I don't want to be put – listen. Great coaches, when you have a great coaching staff, it's something special. Big reason, we were great in Philly was we had a great coaching staff. Listen, Frank Reich is one of my favorite, if not favorite, coaches of all time. He understands me as a player. He understands me as a person. But, I haven't had any talks with him. I don't know. I'm a Chicago Bear right now. But I think if he knows me. He understands. I mean, y'all watched the 2017 season in the playoffs where he changed the offense and built it around me, and y'all saw what happened. Listen, I'm 32. I feel great. The version of me right now is much better than the version that played in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that. And I'm confident in that. So put that through your mind. I know that.
Do we need a sequel?
Nice.
Do we need this to happen? A lot going on and shaking over the last 24 hours. This, of course, was trending on Twitter when the Carson Wentz injury first happened. Before we even knew surgery was on the table, you added fuel to the fire at the breakfast table just yesterday. How do we feel about Wentz, Foles, and really just this dismal, really sort of devastating Colts quarterback situation right now?
I would love to sit here with you guys this morning and say, let's do it. Let's get some content. Let's rip open some scars and ruin some lives and wife swap. Woo! Let's do it. I can't get there because here I'm listening to Nick Foles say, I'm better now at 32 than I ever was. No, you're not. Maybe you are as a person and as a human being, and God bless you, but here's the dirty little secret about Nick Foles. He went on an iconic, magical run to a Super Bowl, and he has not played good football ever since. This is just factual stuff right here. Nick Foles, we hear, well, he's going to reunite with Reich. That's different. No, he reunited with John DeFilippo in Jacksonville, and we heard all the same stuff, and he got outplayed by a 6th-round rookie named Gardner Minshew. That's why he's not there anymore. And then, well, he's going to reunite with Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy and John DeFilippo again in Chicago, in which he was outplayed by a benched Mitch Trubisky who's no longer with the team. So, guys, we've ridden this ride a couple times that we're going to get the old Foles magic together with one of those great Eagles coaches. It got him a statue in Philly special. It doesn't, not only does it not work out, it fails pretty miserably. And that's why he's sitting there as the third-string quarterback, which he should be. So I say you cannot do it because, A, the circus comes to town in Indianapolis, and the Colts, look, they want a future with Carson Wentz, a long one. They've said it for months. We love him. We're behind him. He gets a little bit injured, and now you bring in this guy, a guy who might not even be better than the young guy you already have in the building who's never thrown a pass. And everything he's put on tape since that Super Bowl says he will not. I can't do it.
Listen, as much as I can agree with you because you have some valid points, you have to think about the next best option. And what is the next best option? I'm sitting here on Colts.com and I'm looking up Jacob Eason and Brett Hundley and Jalen Morton, the backup quarterbacks, and they don't even have a picture of these guys on Colts.com.
Wow.
It's a helmet, an empty helmet sitting on an equipment bag.
File missing?
Yes. So they don't even have a picture, let alone reps on the field that you can lean on. Big Nick, he has that energy, right?
Sure.
That is that Big Nick energy.
Yep.
He's sitting there saying, you know what? Look at the tape. You guys remember when I made that Super Bowl run? You remember when I played under Frank Reich. You know exactly what I can do when I'm playing at the level I can. So as much as we can look at him showing up with the Colts and making it uncomfortable for Carson, who cares if it makes it uncomfortable? Who cares if it mucks it up? Carson Wentz is getting paid handsomely. He's banged up. It's something that he has been for the last few years. If you're the Colts, you're doing whatever you can to put a Band-Aid on this situation until Carson Wentz comes back and he's healthy. I'm not saying that Nick Foles is the answer. I'm not saying he's going to go undefeated. What I will say, it might be better than throwing a young guy in there who might not be able to handle the pressure of being a starter week one. And the value is there. What is this, a supply and demand league? The demand for the Colts right now is that they need a quarterback. Okay, let's supply a trade offer, put it out there, and see if you can make it work. I just feel like it's the best option for right now, not the best player available.
Is he a Band-Aid, though, or is he like poking the wound and making it worse? Like you're saying the Colts need a Band-Aid. How in this world where you can get Carson Wentz back maybe week 5, maybe week 8, maybe week 12, and you want Carson Wentz back, how is he a Band-Aid, really?
Because Carson Wentz is going to be out and you need somebody.
He doesn't make it worse?
Make what? Carson Wentz?
Situation in that quarterback room, adding Foles doesn't make it worse?
Are we concerned about a grown man's feelings who's getting paid multi-millions?
Kind of. I think there is something there. I think it was proven that there was something.
Let's play that out for a sec. Let's say that
I think that's a ridiculous
Let's say Nick Foles comes over and he plays 5 games and he goes 3-2 and it's okay. Then you just go with him? And are we repeating it? And now Wentz is done and you're going to go with Nick Foles?
You go with the best quarterback for the job. If Carson Wentz comes back and he's starting and he doesn't play well, you put Nick Foles right back in. Listen, I'm not going to sit here as if I'm not an emotional guy, or if I haven't had these moments throughout my career when I was playing where I thought about the backup that was trying to take my position, or I felt bad for the guy that I was snatching his position. But I do feel like there's a narrative in sports in general that competition is somehow bad for a guy who's getting paid so much money. Like when we were talking about, and I'm going off on a little tangent, when Tua Tagovailoa was sitting there and you had Ryan Fitzpatrick behind him, like finally they got rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's good for Tua. Is it? Pressure, that brings the best out of athletes. And if a guy can't handle a backup there to take his position, then he might not be the man for the job in the first place.
It's not just any backup,
It's just-
Nate.
this
It's
is
the
a little
relationship.
different.
It's the history. You took in a dog who was shaken and traumatized because this other dog beat it in a fight, and now you're going to nurse it back to health because you believe in it. And then you want to bring in the same dog that beat him, it's going to rattle his cage.
The same dog that has a statue? Come on.
And I would say this: the only thing that's changed in the last couple of days for the Colts with regard to their view of Carson Wentz is a bone popped loose and started to create. I mean, before these couple of days, they were extremely high on what he'd done so far.
Yeah.
And they were saying, we've got our guy. And so if he misses, all right, let's split the difference, right? Because it's the weirdest timeline we've ever seen.
Terrible.
Okay, so let's
Modern medicine is the best we can do.
Let's come in at about 8 weeks, okay? Or 9. He
Kyle's
misses-
literally rolling his eyes.
Sports media, modern sports medicine, 5 to 12
No,
is what we got.
You were right the first time. Sports media, right? Because it's up to us to kind of sift
Well,
through
Mike,
this.
give me something better than 5 to 12. What do you got?
Let's go 8 to 12.
Okay,
See,
great.
now that's a real timeline. I've heard that one before. 8 to 12. So 8 weeks. Let's put it at 9 weeks where he's finally back.
All right.
He misses what? 3 games?
Okay.
Or 4 games? It's a quarter of the season. You still got the last 75%. Yes, I use that number on purpose, Philadelphia. You still got the last 75% of the season for him to play. Surgery will allow him, you hope, there's no guarantees, but we'll hope that he will have that mobility that he needs to play off schedule, to do the things that he needs to do when he is a successful quarterback. So now all of a sudden he comes back and he plays the bulk of the season. and he plays well.
Okay.
Do you really want to bring in some guy for just those 3 or 4 games or whatever it winds up being?
Great question.
Where if you go, let's say 1-3, you still got a talented team, you still got a shot to make the playoffs, and this is still about not just 2021 with Carson Wentz, but everything beyond.